Israel's Prime Minister rejects calls for ceasefire as ground operation intensifies. Here's what to know. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu made clear on Monday that Israel would not agree to a ceasefire as the country's ground operations in Gaza intensify. He said, while the Bible says there is a time for peace, this is a time for war. Meanwhile, a Hamas spokesperson said Israel was not successful in entering Gaza, except in some limited areas, and described the humanitarian situation in the enclave as disastrous. The Israel Defense Forces has not released details about how far it has advanced, but it is clear that Israeli troops have established positions well within the Strip. Armored personnel carriers moving inside the border fence on Monday. Israeli attacks near Gaza City hospitals spur panic. The Palestine Red Crescent Society says Israeli attacks near Al-Quds Hospital in Gaza City are causing fear and panic among displaced civilians and health workers. Bombardments reported across the besieged territory as PM Netanyahu rejected calls for a ceasefire. The Indonesia hospital in Gaza reported a third strike near the facility early on Tuesday, hours after the Turkish-Palestinian Friendship Hospital said an Israeli attack caused damage and injuries. Israeli air raids have been reported in the vicinity of Gaza's European hospital. UN officials appealed to the Security Council for a ceasefire, as the head of UNICEF warns that more than 420 children are being killed or injured in Gaza every day. At least 8,306 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza in Israeli attacks since October 7. More than 1,400 people have been killed in Israel. Israel says it struck 300 targets overnight in Gaza. Israeli security forces say they attacked about 300 targets overnight in Gaza under the guidance of the country's intelligence services. The military destroyed anti-tank and rocket launching positions, tunnel shafts, and military compounds of Hamas, according to a statement on X. Israeli forces advanced further into the besieged Gaza Strip and battled with Palestinian fighters near Gaza City as the United Nations and medical staff express fears over air raids closer to hospitals. A Russian mercenary group is recruiting women to fight in Ukraine, UK Mod. A Russian mercenary group is attempting to recruit women for combat roles in Ukraine, according to the UK Ministry of Defence Mod. In its daily intelligence briefing for Monday, the Mod said that Redet, a state-backed private military company, is appealing for women to work as snipers and drone operators in its Boers battalion. Redet, formerly known as SHIELD, has links to the GRU, Russia's foreign intelligence agency. It is part of a group of mercenary forces that protect commercial operations of Russian companies, and has been deployed in Ukraine since the start of the full-scale invasion in 2022. Composed of former Russian special forces and members of the Wagner mercenary group, Redet was reportedly involved in the plot to assassinate Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in the early days of the war. The UK Mod cited Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu saying 1,100 women were currently deployed in Ukraine, serving mostly in medical support and food service roles. That number is equivalent to 0.3% of Russia's military force, it estimated. The UK Mod said it was unclear whether the wider Russian defense forces would follow suit and bring more women into combat roles.